different areas, okay? And then look at the competition. And then you can start to decide, okay?
Thank you.
Mark, great, thank you. Thank you so much for the gifts.
Thank you. One more before the talk, right?
And that's me. Oh, it's you. All right. So that's going to be easy. Шестая, давай.
Слушайте, я вас только представьте историю бесконечно. Они очень громко шумят, примерно, и стоит шум.
Так, группа 6, есть еще кто-нибудь? Ко всем просьба, все, кто хочет поболтать.
Не, поболтать вообще не здесь.
Туда.
Да,
Либо
снаружи,
туда,
нет,
либо совсем туда.
Нет, снаружи, народ. Потому что вы шумите и вы глушите людей.
Okay, I will try to speak loudly that everybody listens. Okay, so that's our project, Video 360 Degree Change the Education Infrastructure. Why we are so ambitious? What was the Russia 100 years ago? Still a great country moving to industrial society. About 40-50 years ago, first calculators come to the market. And that was the first one was by coding calculator. About 20 years ago, the first portable computers come to the market in Russia, at least. And where we are now? Now we are saying that we are moving from industrial society to post-industrial society. What is most important there? Of course, that's a question about education. And now we see that that's really, in my grandkids, there is the same picture. At 2 years old, my first granddaughters, I learned how to use iPad. I don't know how the second one learned it, at what age. So they just like born with iPad. And on moving from normal books to e-textbook, it's now discussing on national level. But what we also think that we have to move to modern way for education, and that's modern way of education, it's virtual reality and video 360 degree. So, why video 360 degree? The main reason that visual information is about 80 times is more acceptable for the brain than text or tables. And of course we can see it in the normal flat screen, but when you are going to surround, you see absolutely different picture, especially if you are doing natural science or history or something else. Yeah, actually it was one broadcasting on Russian TV that they start to make worldwide war broadcasting this video 360 degree that you feel yourself really back to. Okay, what we offer to our customers? We offer a complete set of educational class, fully ready for VR and video 360 degree education. What our customers get? They get a safe furniture for the education, and we have already a lot of stories how people falling down during this VR, etc. So we want to make it absolutely sure that it's safe, especially if we are going to the middle or secondary school. We give a full set of equipment, depends on how rich this class. We can start from very expensive to very basic solutions. We give a dedicated tutor place. We give a guidebook how to use virtual reality in education, and we give a basic training to training schools that teachers they can start immediately when they get this class. So who is our customers? Of course, it's different type of educational, I would say, traditional educational infrastructure, starting from kids and vocational training, etc. We see that our customers is different type of art schools, designer schools, everyone who needs something which is going on around on the scene of the year, etc. Medical education centers is someone is also very important. Why? Because I would say even in our country, which is quite rich or quite poor, it depends on point of view, there is several absolutely great medical centers which is located in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Or people who are in Far East or somewhere in countryside, they don't have physical access, but they could have it virtually and they can see absolutely clear what kind of, so if they need to make operation, surgery, they just see the room that they have seen many times ago. Of course, it's military or rescue education centers. It's different type of science popularization parks, and everything what is on spatial plane. Everything when you need to see the whole structure. And who knows how many more people would be interested in that. So we will make it our market universe. That's already third or fourth version. We already started to cut something, but still we have quite a lot of things to do. So we split it like producers because we don't want to produce everything ourselves. So we have to look to different type of producers of different parts of our equipment which we need. We have here we put remain customers, and we put market factors because we was thinking about, for example, kids, and we don't know how long kids can really use this. Maybe 2 minutes during one class, 3 minutes, it depends on. And here we have to really see the doctors or safety regulations instruction. How we can we have to get something below. Okay, with technology. With technology we are quite happy. And what is Elena actually? Elena was needed some credit. But with technology we are quite clear. So there is already technology on the market. Almost everyone has a mobile phone. You install one program, you press the button, so video is started, and after that you need a helmet which costs from €2 or actually free up to, I don't know, €2,000 if we use some very special. So after that you will just put it to helmet and everyone can see it. So you can turn around, you have to turn around, you can look down if you are not afraid, of course there is some body. But you can, and it means that everyone from every point of the earth, they could see, they access to most of equipped laboratory in different part of the world. So that's what I want to say here, that technologies already exist. So we are not doing something absolutely new. So what we just try to do, we just try to make it available for the wide audience. And what is good that it's already started with education. And what I want to say, especially here with Google Cardboard, they already started. This device actually people can do it as a homework. But of course it depends on what kind of quality you want to say. If you want to have a good quality, of course you have to go to a little bit more complicated devices. So here, actually, everything what we offer, in principle, as a prototype, we have our own. Secret, don't make shots. Actually, I discovered that, and one guy was making this very nice. That's our ITMO cardboard. Now it's printed, almost everything printed on 3D printer. Of course, it's glasses we still cannot make these, but that's what you can buy in every shop. Yeah, so of course, the technology is not so as easy. And we have our own 360-degree camera, which is now have 6 different links, so making 6 recording. But now we made even that 2 cameras are doing 360-degree video. So from this point of view, we are already quite a long time on technology stage. So when we were thinking about market universe, technology universe, we were mainly thinking about equipment, different type of producers of equipment, and visualization techniques. So that's here we have to learn it carefully, and maybe later on we will look at something from this. So how do we sell? Of course we have to protect our IP. And here we have a lot of different type of possibilities. We can protect either equipment or method how we are doing training. So here we still have to do quite a lot of research to be sure that we protect something that is really present. So we are making the plan for investors attraction. From market activities, we are planning to use PR and GR as much as possible, because we still believe that quite many governmental organizations, they could be someone through whom we are selling this. Of course, we will be concentrated on PPP. It's not so, I would say, widely used in Russia, but it's already, I mean, it's doesn't also here. And we try to use as many subcontractors instead of to have our own product. So for investment attraction, we were thinking that we start from small public grants to make a final, let's say, prototype of our equipment or the whole product, not only equipment but the whole product, and then we also test education and test education model, and also train the trainers and IPR. On second stage, we believe that we will start to attract business angels and venture capitals for end users, but also research for corporate partners like producers of medical equipment, for example, and which they have to sell around the world, but it's quite difficult, you know, sometimes to bring all surgery from one part to another part, so we give them possibility that they can present their equipment virtually. And of course, we are looking for very much national and global governments like United Nations in order to come to the markets which really need this technique, but maybe they don't have enough financing to buy it themselves. So that's we have to cut seriously, but now we tried to use any possible implementation which we can use. Of course, that's still a great job in here to see which one is. So we think that we can sell class, but we can also rent class. We think, should we produce our own training materials? If we produce our own training materials, so maybe we have to make like a leasing shop, so that every school can buy just one class as much as they need it. And a different type of, I mean, there's a lot of like trade unions, I mean, sorry, not trade unions, but unions of entrepreneurs and businesses. They can be someone who are interested to make a network of the education centers, etc. So, but that's something what we are working.
Great. Yeah, you know, I thought you filled out the market and the technology application really well, because you have all the options there, right? So you looked at all these different markets you could potentially go for, and then you have like in the implementation so many different potential models and the way you get there. And so I thought that was really good. So it seems like going forward now, it's the combination of things and trying to narrow it to see which ones could possibly be the best path forward. Right? Yeah, no, I thought you did a very good job there. It seems like the technology part too. It seems like you're pretty confident. You kind of know what's going on.
We have a very good team who is already working on technology.
Yeah.
They are very technical guys. I mean, they are not. I would say they are not really engineers, but they are guys who now concentrated on techniques. Even when they made a video recording, they said, "We made a video recording." Wow! I said, "Can I see that?"
That's what I mean.
I said, "Is it video recording? Is it something that I can show to customers?" Oh, we don't think about it because now we want. But that's the next step. For example, if we speak about arts, different type of arts, we need professional directors, professional people who can do really from 50 minutes video, 2 minutes, but professional one.
But that's what I mean, is that it seems like you not only fill that space out, but you can also feel confident you can generate any combination of technology or expertise you want, right? So it really is when you think about going forward.
So you know, let me go into a couple of specifics, like the thoughts that I had. You know, so first of all, you mentioned this briefly in the beginning. I think it's a very important point. Okay, is let's call it educational science. Okay, you said like how long is the attention span? Okay, so there's a whole field of research, obviously, that deals with, you know, what kind of presentation or whatever, what is the learning, the absorption rate, you know, of information and how it is presented and so on. That all actually should be in the technology session. You know, it's not implementation, because that's like, it's, you know, sometimes when we build science, okay, like, you know, like the science of, you know, like if you need social science, like for example anthropology would go in there too, okay, because it's something that, you know, you study that is repeatable, okay, right? So all that aspect, neurology, even neurology, put neurology into technology, okay, right? Because it's a parameter for that. But on the market side, okay, so you know, there's two things that I think are of paramount importance in trying to sort of sort this out. One is what I would call like the human interface cost. Okay, you've already addressed this with the table and so on. So if you're going to the 3D, there is something you know, people assume kind of wrongly that it's all natural for us, okay, but it isn't, right? You know, so there is, you know, depending on, unless we have absolutely perfect quality and perfect immersion, right? There is something that feels a bit uncomfortable. That's why you also need the table, you know, and so on and so forth, right? So there is a cost to that, right? So, for example, and that's when, you know, you come to, so one thing that Steve Jobs did very well, he focused on this interface very well, like to make it basically disappear as much as possible, okay? But the thing is, it's that, right? And depending on the application and type of technology, this cost sort of is different. It's a human cost, okay, not a money cost, right? The second, and you know, so but that needs to be somewhat valued against like what the application is worth, right? For example, a flight simulator, right? There, you know, putting a lot of money into like making this perfect.
Flight simulator it will be.
Yeah, no, it's worth it, okay?
No, I think
because
what he's saying is so as an example of a field where the reason people invest in that is because the cost to do it in the real plane, right, is expensive, right? If you crash a jet or you do something like that. So that's the case where with all the inconveniences of creating that simulation environment, it's still worth it because you save so much as opposed to having people get the experience a different way, right? So I think it's kind of like this thing that if we're going to go into 3D, you know, you would think, you know, as you're trying to narrow those things, where is it that, you know, the customer is saving a lot of time in something that would normally take a lot longer, or where is it that they can do this ahead of time? That, you know, if they did it in the real world, it would be too difficult, or they can't get, you know, that experience fast enough. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I understand. Because when you come to final customers, you have to explain them how they are saving money. Because also when we speak about this virtual reality, it's much more expensive when you are doing just video recording. Especially if we speak about natural science.
Yes.
Yeah. On natural, if you want to have virtual reality, you spend a lot of money from some pixels or this company.
And it's something that people don't actually want to do, right? So there's two things. It's more expensive. Plus, what Andreas was talking about was that they don't want to do it, right? But there's a huge payoff if immersion in that reality is better than doing reality itself ahead of time, right? So that's where you're going to get the biggest win. So, you know, I mean, an analogy would be like maybe there's something that, I'm just making this up because it's probably not a real application. But for example, like in the medical area that you talked about, if there was something doctors have to do that they need to get experience with, but killing patients or the inconvenience of that, or, you know, like, you know what I mean? It's really high cost, right? So they can go and they can kind of do it and get better at it without having to, then it's a huge win for them, right? Because they don't kill people, whatever. That might not be a real application, but you get my idea.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. As I was saying, that even when you sell medical equipment, it's so expensive to bring every customer to see the room. I mean, they fully operate.
So I was just writing that
you
down.
just send him a video, you look at it, you can look at it. Of course, it's a little bit dangerous if you start to walk. That is why we need to limit persons around, because walking is dangerous.
You know, I'm just thinking of, like, has anybody for the real estate business done such things?
Yeah, with real estate business it's a little bit difficult because they want to sell something unique. And when you sell, I mean, if you sell something unique, you have to do a virtual reality. But virtual reality is very expensive. But when you have recording, you have to show something which is already existing. And that's for developers, it's not so interesting because they don't want to sell something that exists, they want to sell something that is unique. And
probably exclusivity.
Yeah, but sorry, of course, no. What I make a mistake now, because in this city I have a mentality of block houses. If we speak about separate houses, that's absolutely a great case. So you don't have to bring customers exactly.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, so in other words, you can go online and you get a tour of the house without having to go.
I just have different mind of this block house. That's very expensive. We were discussing with someone who is making a block house, and that's really, I mean, you have to go to virtual reality, and this mobile phone cannot simulate it. But when you have video, it doesn't matter because video is just video.
So I mean, there's obviously lots of applications, right? So on the market side, again, you know, like I think you need to find a way, okay? Like, what is the key thing? So, you know, the first thing that you have all the customers and all the the needs and desires and all that, okay? But then, you know, sort of like in the next step, you have to come to evaluation, right? And there is a big, you know, mistake often made, you know, that, and I think, you know, Google Glass experienced that to some extent. It's like, if, you know, a couple of technically inclined people, you know, find, oh, this is really cool, okay, that doesn't mean that, you know, the general population, you know, the wider audience accepts it because of this human interface cost, okay? And it's not just that they underestimated that, but it's also that the, so you need to, like, there is a you know, so the key point is that you have to come up with so what I wanted to say is that it's anytime you have to use the phrase in your mind, okay, well, I just have to convince the customer of that, okay, then, you know, it's sort of like, you know, some at least yellow alarm flags should go off, okay, because what you really do, if you have to convince the customer of that, you're not really fulfilling the need. It doesn't have to be seamless. You know, you might have to educate the customer, okay? But you can't convince the customer, you know, of something. So the question is, you know, so this is where the valuation comes in very centrally. Where it's like, what are my alternatives? What is the alternative behavior? What am I doing right now, okay? And you know, so why do I value this, you know, better? So in the flight case simulator, it's clear, right? In the medical equipment sort of thing, well, maybe, okay, depending on like what are the alternatives. But you can actually put numbers to this. On the thing where it's just better off like classroom, you know, just convenient, well, you know, maybe not, okay. But the point is, you can actually start to look at your market opportunities, okay, and translate the needs into some sort of a rough valuation. And then the last point that I generally wanted to make is that because of this, you can do rapid prototyping, okay, because of the conveniences. And the rapid prototyping, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like you go to the market, you give it to a couple of people, you know, you go to, I don't know, a medical equipment company, okay, you go to the salespeople, okay, and you say, would you do this? And they say like, no, our customers are fuzzy about this and so on, you know, like assuming better.